Andy, listen, the man is just about to say it.
Yeah, let's everybody listen.
Rinso, the new Rinso with Solium, brings you the Amos and Andy Show. Yes, sir, Rinso, the soap that contains Solium, the sunlight ingredient, brings you a full half hour of entertainment with Lou Lubin, Eddie Green, James Basquette, the Jubilaires, Jeff Alexander's orchestra and chorus, and radio's all-time favorites, Amos and Andy. And now, Lever Brothers Company, the makers of Rinso, invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy Amos and Andy. Contrary to his usual custom, this morning the Kingfish was up and out of bed at 9 o'clock. As we join him now, he's entering the kitchen of his apartment where his wife, Sapphire, is preparing breakfast.
Well, good morning, honey. Good morning.
Come on over here and get your breakfast.
Oh, boy, get that smell. There ain't nothing like getting up in the morning and having the whole apartment filled with the tempting smell of bacon and eggs frying.
Don't get excited. That smell is coming from the apartment next door.
What is we having?
Stale donuts and coffee.
Same old combination, huh? Rocks and lie.
Always complaining about the coffee. Next week, I'm going to start using that shade-grown coffee.
Well, it's about time. This stuff tastes like it was growed under a toadstool.
Well, what do you expect when I get a food budget of $3 a week?
Well, judging from the meals we're getting around here, you were squandering $2 someplace else.
By the way, here's a telegram that come for you this morning.
Telegram, let me see it. Arrive in New York Friday, letter follows. Signed Uncle Charlie. Uncle Charlie. That's the only relative we got that's got any money. Good old Uncle Charlie. Or as the family calls him, Little Fort Knox. Yeah.
George, this might be our chance to get out of our financial mess. If we're nice to Uncle Charlie and show him a good time, maybe we can get him to help us out.
Yeah, show him a good time, but wait a minute, honey. Money. This has caught me at a bad time of the month.
Bad time of the month?
Yeah, right between the 1st and 30th. Oh, it got me right in the middle.
I don't care, George. We got to make an imprint on your Uncle Charlie. You know, you always been his favorite nephew, and lots of times he's written us that someday, when he dies, you would get his money.
You know, that's a funny thing, Sapphire. I had a wonderful dream about old Uncle Charlie the other night. He had just made out his will, and I was the beneficiary. Me and him was taking a train trip together. I was the happiest man in the world. There I was, all alone in a chair in the lounge car.
Where was Uncle Charlie?
In a box in the baggage car. Oh. So that's the story, Henry. My rich Uncle Charlie is getting to town Friday, and I got to entertain him.
Well, how old a man is your Uncle Charlie, Kingfish?
Oh, he's getting along pretty good.
You know, I had an uncle that lived to be 80. He was an octogenarian.
He was, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll make you old, all right, them geraniums. Yeah.
Yes, it will. You know, he was known as the fashion plate of the Van Porter family. And when he died, his will stated that I was to be the sole heir of his entire wardrobe.
Well, how did it fit?
I never found out. He was buried in it.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to get a hold of some money to entertain my Uncle Charlie.
Well, I don't think that you can get it from your usual source of Andy. You know, he's become interested in politics. And he says he's going to take his spare money and make a contribution to support the man of his choice in becoming election.
He is, huh? Say, wait a minute. That give me an idea here. I'll form my own political party and get Andy to contribute to that.
Yes, you might con him out of the money before he tributes to somebody else.
Yeah, that will. Uh-oh, here come Andy now. Now I got to convince him that I was running a political campaign headquarters here at the Lodge Hall. Come in, Andy.
Say, Kingfish, what's that big banner you got plastered across the front of the Lodge Hall?
Why, that's the candidate that our party is running for president, Andy.
What is his name again?
The name? Why, Andy, the name is on everybody's tongue. Ike McVandendooey.
Yeah, I hear of him somewhere.
Yeah, well, confidential, Andy. His real name is Otto Schultz. We just made up this other name to capitalize on the confusion that's going on.
But Ike McVandendooey. Ain't that an awful long name?
Well, it's going to be longer as soon as we can work Stassen in there somewhere.
Well, do you think this fellow will make a good president, Kingfish?
Good? Why, just look at his record. Former governor of East St. Louis, 2 years in the Senate, twice elected loudspeaker of the House, 2 years in the haberdashery business. Oh, the man's qualified.
Well, I am still looking for the right man to get behind.
Oh, you can't go wrong with Ike McVanden do it. He is a true American. Oh, just look at his family tree.
What about it?
What about it? He's a direct descendant of his great-great-grandfather.
No fooling.
Yeah.
Well, who was his great-great-grandfather?
He won't say. He don't want to trade on the family name. You see, oh, he's honest.
Tell me this. What kind of personality has this man got with the women folks?
He can outkiss the Alabama governor 4-1. Oh, he's a great man. I'll get him a guitar next month, too. Let him go down south.
Yeah, well, that sounds good, all right, but with the world conditions the way they is, maybe we needs a soldier in the White House.
Oh, don't worry about Ike McVanden, do it. He was one of our greatest American naval commanders. Andy, you remember the man, don't you?
Sure I do.
He's the one that sunk it.
Well, what has the Maine got to do with him being a good man for president?
Andy, don't make me laugh. Ain't you ever heard the expression, as goes man, so goes the nation? Now, listen to that.
Yeah. Oh, I see. He's going to sink everything.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and he's bound to win, Andy. According to the latest Gallup poll, he's going to ride right into the White House. So, Andy, why don't you contribute $50 for this Ike McVanden do it campaign?
Now, wait a minute. Look, Kingfish, before I give my money to any party, I is going to take...
Well, hi, Andy. Hello there, King.
Hello, Amos.
Come in, Amos. What is that silly-looking sign on the front of the lodge hall saying Ike McVanden do it for president?
Ain't you heard, Amos? He's going up to Maine and kiss the governor of Alabama.
He going to do what? What is he driving at, Andy?
Amos, our candidate, is going right into the White House, according to some Polish fella that just galloped into America.
Andy, you was about as mixed up as some of the candidates is. But anyway, Kingfish, your wife asked me to give you this letter that just come for you. She says it's from your Uncle Charlie. Yeah, thank you, Amos. Let me see here. Holy smokes. Addresses to letter Dr. Stevens. Say, wait a minute. I is in trouble.
What's wrong, Kingfish?
About 15 years ago, I needed some money for some bills that I owed, so I got an idea. I writ my Uncle Charlie that I wanted to go to medical school and needed the tuition fee, and he sent me the money. Now he coming to New York tomorrow. He going to be under the imprint that I is a successful physician.
Oh, boy, you was really in the spot there, Kingfish.
Oh, I can't face the man. If he finds out I done tricked him once, he'll never give me another cent. Yeah, well, what is he going to do? Well, he's getting to New York tomorrow morning. I is going to leave here during the night.
When is you going to leave?
And I won't be here
when the moon go down.
No, he won't be caught a-napping. He's prepared for all that happens, be it famine or flood or fire or judgment day.
When the moon goes down in the valley of time, talking about time. When the sun, begins to shine, Lord,
When every star,
Lord, what a pity, every star will disappear. When the moon goes down in the valley of time.
goes down in the valley of time.
Well, now stop. Let me tell you about that awful judgment day. Well, the sea will be boiling, and the rock will melt away. For a sinner will be running, trying to find a higher place.
When the moon goes down in the valley of time, goes down in the valley of time.
Well, you look at the sea, and the sea will be boiling. Well, you look at the rocks, and the rocks will be burning. Hey, you look at the stars, and the stars will be falling.
When the moon goes down in the valley of time,
My Lord,
my Lord.
No, I've been trying to figure out a way to describe the wonderful wash day result you get when you use new Rinso with Solium. Well, You know those big snowy white piles of brand new sheets and pillowcases you see in a department store? You do a wash with Rinso. Let it dry, iron it, and your wash will look whiter than that. Washable colors turn out even brighter than brand new. It's a fact, and it's all because of Solium, the scientific sunlight ingredient. Only new Rinso contains Solium. Now, that's all pretty wonderful, but here's something even more amazing. Your Rinso wash will turn out shining and bright even if it's dried indoors. Yes, rain or shine, indoors or out. Rinso with Solium puts sunshine in your wash. Try those soapy-rich Rinso suds. Rinso is safe for clothes and kind to your hands. Next wash day, I wish you'd try new Rinso with Solium.
Well, Gabby, the politician, come in. Glad you got over here.
Hi, Kingfish. I just got back from Washington. You know, the baseball season opened in Washington yesterday, and this year President Truman, instead of throwing the ball out with his right arm, he fooled everybody and threw it out with his other one.
Oh, he did, huh?
Yeah, and you know something? The Un-American Activities Committee went to see him right away.
Why?
Left wing.
Oh, yeah, you know, Gabby, politics is sure getting hot now, ain't it?
Yeah, and as fast as these presidential candidates make these campaign promises, they put the promises right in the refrigerator.
Why are they putting the campaign promises in the refrigerator?
You know, them things don't keep long.
Gabby, like I told you over the phone, my uncle just got in town, and I've been showing him the sights. Now, he thinks that I is a doctor. Now, I was going to run away, but that's no good. Now, what is it going to do?
Well, you got to prove to him that you was a doctor. I don't know how to tell you to do it, though, Kingfish.
Yeah, well, where's Andy at, Gabby? Maybe he could help me.
Andy wanted to make a few bucks tonight as a babysitter. He's sitting with an 8-month-old baby.
Wait a minute. A babysitter. Andy's at some place with a baby. That means that the baby's mom and papa ain't home. I could tell my uncle that I was one of them baby doctors.
Oh, you mean one of them pediatricians, huh?
Yeah. I'll get Andy to cooperate with me, take my uncle along, and pretend that I was making a medical call.
That's a good idea. I'll give you the address of the place where Andy is.
Yeah, and I'll call up Andy and tip him off that I'm coming up with my uncle.
Good, Kingfish, good. Well, I got to run along now. I got to date with a gal.
Yeah, what kind of gal are you going around with now, Gabby?
Oh, she's very pretty, but she's so naive.
Yeah, sure enough.
The other night I asked her to hold hands with me, and she said nobody ever taught her how to hold hands. Then I asked her to give me a little hug. She said nobody ever taught her how to hug. Then later on I asked her for a kiss, and she said nobody ever taught her how to kiss.
Yeah, well, how'd you make out?
Kingfish meet the Board of Education.
Well, Uncle Charlie, I'm certainly glad that you come to New York.
Well, it's a pleasure, George, to be here with you. You've certainly shown me around the town. Now, it looks like it's going to be very interesting going out on this medical call with you.
Yes, here's the apartment house right here, Uncle Charlie.
What's usually wrong with these kids when they call you in, George?
Oh, it's always the same children diseases. Teething, chicken pox, lumbago, gallstones, and all that. Here's the door right here. I'll knock on the door. You know, the father of the child was pretty excited when he called me, but that's the way they all act. Hello, Mr. Brown. It's Dr. Stevens.
Oh, the PD electrician.
Right, yeah.
Well, thank goodness you was here.
Well, now, let's be calm, Mr. Brown. Let's be calm. What seems to be the trouble, Mr. Brown?
Oh, my poor baby has been crying all evening. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, well, I was here now. Oh, and by the way, Mr. Brown, I hope you don't mind that I brought my uncle along on this call. But he wanted to see how I work, you see.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Brown. This is all new to me.
Likewise. Oh, my poor baby, Doctor.
Maybe I ought to wait outside. I feel like I'm intruding.
Don't be silly. The more the merrier.
Yeah. Now, about this baby, Mr. Brown, before I examine him, I'd like to ask you a few questions. Tell me, has the baby been sick much?
Oh, now and then. Nothing serious.
I see. Has he ever had rickets?
No, not since we sprayed him.
That'll get rid of them all right, yeah. Miss Brown, you say the baby's been crying a lot this evening, huh?
Oh, yeah. Bawling his head off for 3 solid hours.
Crying for 3 solid hours, huh?
Yeah. Maybe you better come in and take a look at the kid, Doctor. Right this way.
Yeah.
There he is, in the crib over there.
Mm-hmm. This is a little more serious than I thought. From here, it looks like the baby's got yellow jaundice.
Doctor, the baby's on the far side of the crib. You was looking at the teddy bear.
Oh, yes. I thought the baby was a little fuzzy there. I never saw.
George, just look at that darling baby there.
Doctor, help my baby. You got to do something to stop his crying.
My, that's strange. You said the baby'd been crying. Look, it's laughing.
He is just hysterical, that's the trouble.
Yeah, that's what it must be, all right, because the little darling is sick as a dog. Otherwise, I wouldn't have called no doctor in. He's really in pain, I know that.
He's putting up a brave front, ain't he?
Yeah, you know, maybe you better start to examine him, doctor.
Oh, yes, I'll start examining his stomach and chest first.
Just look at that baby. Isn't he sweet?
Yeah, he's a cute baby, all right.
What a joy it must be to have a little baby like that.
Yeah, I guess it is. I bet his father's proud of him.
Andy, you was the father.
Oh, yeah. I was speaking in the second tense. Yeah, I'm proud of him.
George, what does the examination show there?
Well, it's lucky, Mr. Brown, that you called me in. This baby is really sick. Little does he know what pain he's in.
Yeah. He's miserable, all right.
Laughing convulsions is what he got there.
Tell me this, doctor. Is the baby got any fever?
Well, I'll find out right now. I'll put this thermometer under his tongue. Open your mouth there, baby. Come on there. We're a little wider there. Let me get this thermometer in there.
George, he might swallow it.
Oh, that's all right. I got another one at the office. Hold it. Hold it now there. Do-de-o-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Well, that's been long enough. Let me see here. 98 6/10. And he's been in the shade, too.
Well, that's normal, George.
Well, it's normal if he was Fahrenheit, but I was thinking centipede. Oh, this baby ain't well at all.
What do you think we ought to do, doctor?
Well, we'll just have to watch him. In the meantime, I'll give you a prescription to stop him from laughing. That's what I'll do.
Okay, George, I just remembered I have an appointment, so I'm going to run along.
Oh, okay, Uncle Charlie, okay. Maybe it's best because I think this case is contagious.
And, George, before I forget it, there's one thing I want to see before I go away tomorrow. I want to drop up and have a look at your office.
My office? Well, you see, Uncle,
Anytime tomorrow will be all right with me. I'll have plenty of time.
Yeah.
Well, see you later, George. Goodbye, Mr. Brown.
So long.
Holy smokes, Andy. Where's I going to get a doctor's office? Why didn't you do that when Uncle Charlie was here, you blockhead?
Mrs. Ada Nelson, who lives in Rib Lake, Wisconsin, has written me an awfully nice letter. Dear John Lake, she says, everything you say about new Rinso with Solium is so absolutely true. From the first time I used new Rinso in the washer, I was delighted to see my towels and bed linens come out so fluffy and white. My husband's colored shirts and my own house dresses turn out brighter than I ever saw them. Well, that's right, Mrs. Nelson. A Rinso wash is whiter and brighter than brand new. New Rinso gives your wash a brightness no other soap can. Because only new Rinso contains the scientific sunlight ingredient, Solium. Even if clothes are dried indoors, Rinso with Solium puts sunshine in your wash. Next wash day, why don't you see for yourself? Use safe, soapy-rich Rinso suds with Solium.
Hi, Stonewall.
Yeah, I was the lawyer, Stonewall.
Come in, fella.
Stonewall, excuse us for calling on you here at your apartment. I heard you had a cold, but I got to see you. You see, hey, wait a minute. Why has you got that big revolver laying there on the bed?
Well, Kingfisher, this is Exhibit A in the case I was handling. The state, they claim that my client shot a man with this gun. But my defense is that this gun is so water-soaked that it couldn't possibly have been fired.
Yeah, well, how is you going to prove that the gun was so water-soaked that it couldn't fire?
by a dramatic demonstration. When I gets in court, I'm going to pick up the gun like this, see? Then I point it at the ceiling, and then pull the trigger like this. And I guess I got soaked this thing in the bathtub again.
Now, Stonewall, I is in a mess. Now, here's the story. You see,
excuse me, boy. Hello? Oh, how are you? What's that? Oh, that's good. I'm glad you're happy. Not at all. You're very welcome. Goodbye.
What was that?
That was the fellow upstairs. Said I just shot his mother-in-law.
Now, listen, Stonewall, a rich uncle of mine thinks I is a doctor. And loves I show him that I got a doctor's office, why, he ain't gonna give me no money. I gotta get a doctor's office.
Sure. Maybe I can help you. I got a friend that's a doctor, and he's out of the city. I got the key to his office because I forward his mail. See?
Yeah.
I'll give you the key, and you can tell your uncle that that's your office.
Yeah, where's it at?
Suite 515 in the medical building.
Suite 515 in the medical building.
Well, I guess that solves your problem, Kingfish.
Yeah, I'll paint my name on the door above the other doctor's name.
Well, there's just one thing, though, Kingfish. His office happens to be kind of swanky. And if your uncle thinks that you is that successful, he's liable to think that you don't need his money.
Yeah, you was right. I know what I'll do. I'll tell my Uncle Charlie that even though I is a successful doctor, I is broke because of the high cost of expenses.
Yeah, well, that ought to do the trick.
Yeah, and to convince him, I'll bring Shorty as another great doctor that has done quit his practice on account of expenses. That'll fool my uncle.
Yeah, speaking of uncles, you know, I got a client that was sent to Sing Sing for playing little game of Drop the Hankster with his rich uncle.
Drop the hankster?
Yeah, my client soaked the thing in chloroform and dropped it over the old man's face.
Well, Uncle Charlie ought to be here any minute now. I told him to come right up to Suite 515. Now, I got to convince him that expenses is killing me. Oh, that must be him now. I'll get on the phone here. Come in. I'll be with you in just a second, Uncle. I was on the phone here.
Take your time, George.
Hello? Is this the medical pawn shop? This is pediatrician Stevens. Yeah, I might have to close down my practice on account of expenses, so I'm going to sell all my equipment. What I got? Well, I got 1.5 pounds of radium. What's it worth? $2, huh? Yeah. Well, I got a lot of stuff here. Send your man over and get a price on the whole mess for me here. All right, goodbye.
George, am I hearing right? Do you intend to give up this beautiful office and your big practice?
Well, I has got it, Uncle. I ain't got no alternative. Running a doctor's office these days is so expensive that I is on the verge of bankruptcy.
Why, George, I had no idea anything like this was going on. You've been so cheerful ever since I've been here.
Well, I've been hiding my true feelings, just like Pagliacci. It's just been a case of laugh, pediatrician, laugh. All of my doctor friends has been forced to take on the sideline.
I don't understand.
Well, you take the great specialist on the floor right below me. Right now on his door it says, Dr. Cartwright, eye, ear, nose, throat, and fresh eggs. That's what it says.
Well, George, maybe the answer to your situation is to economize on your office expenses.
Oh, I've been economizing all right. Even been trying to save on x-ray film. I always wait till I get 3 or 4 sick patients, then I takes a group picture.
You know, George, it's almost unbelievable that a thing like this could happen to successful doctors.
Well, right now, in one of my offices here, there's a famous brain surgeon that's in there now brooding over his expenses. I'll get him out here. Oh, brain surgeon. Dr. Shorty, I'd like to have you meet my Uncle Charlie.
This is a great pleasure.
It's a pleasure to meet. I'm certainly glad to meet. It's a privilege to meet a man. I didn't. I hardly know what to say. You get. Hello, Uncle.
You know, Uncle Charlie, Dr. Shorty here was a great brain specialist. I has watched him operate. He had nerves of steel.
Is that so, Dr. Shorty?
Oh, yeah. When I first started my operating career, I was very nervous. But then I developed a terrific technique. When I stood by the operating table and looked down at the patient, I realized that my mind must be completely at ease. I mustn't have anything on my mind. Let nothing bother me for the next hour. I achieved complete relaxation.
Well, how did you manage that?
I took the anesthetic with the patient.
Dr. Shorter, did I understand that you were giving up your surgical practice?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I had to give it up because of the expense. I couldn't even afford to buy a catgut to sew up my patients.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Why, in my last brain operation, I was forced to stitch the patient's head with a violin string. And it sure has serious complications.
Well, what do you mean?
Now, every time the patient combs his hair, pizzicato.
Yes, Uncle Charlie, you now see his tragedy before you. Dr. Shorty, the great brain surgeon has been forced out of the profession he loves so dearly.
Yes, I was down and out. But at least I've managed to get a job that brings me close to my own work of operating on human heads.
And what is that, Doctor?
I crack open coconuts in the fruit market. So long.
Well, I guess in another few weeks, Uncle, I'll be a broke-down bum like he is. This suite here, 515, will just be a memory, dear old 515.
No, George, I'm going to help you right now. I'm going to take some of your financial worries off your shoulders.
You mean it, Uncle?
Yes, I'm going down to the bank right now and make arrangements.
Good. Well, honey, this is a big day for us.
What you mean, George?
Oh, I done pulled a fast one on Uncle Charlie, and he has done come through with a lot of big money for us right away. Coming right through.
Oh, that's wonderful, George. He's really going to help us financially?
Oh, yeah, I fooled him with a... wait a minute, I'll get it. That must be Uncle Charlie now from the bank. Hello, Uncle Charlie.
Hello, George. Hello, Sapphire.
Come in.
Well, Uncle Charlie, dear, I guess you already took care of that little matter we was talking about.
Yes, I did, George. You won't have to worry about your finances for a long time. I made arrangements to help you to the tune of $5,000.
Oh, that's wonderful, Uncle Charlie.
Yes, I saw the superintendent of the medical building and paid the rent on Suite 515 for the next 5 years.
No! And the people who get in a peck of trouble are the people who just go out looking for it. That's what they do.
Yeah, and the people that everything turns out good for is the people that plan ahead.
That's right. The woman who gets a wash that's whiter than new and her washable colors even brighter than new is the woman who plans it that way. So she uses new Rinso with Solium. You get amazingly brilliant results. Those safe, soapy-rich Rinso suds put sunshine in your wash. Ask your dealer for new Rinso. Rinso with Solium.
Good night, folks.
See you next Tuesday.
Don't let them whisper about you.
Don't let them whisper B.O.
Escape embarrassment. Get the only soap especially made to stop B.O., the soap used in the homes of 40 million Americans. The mild, refreshing soap with an exclusive purifying ingredient, Lifebuoy Health Soap. Your daily Lifebuoy bath gives lasting all-over protection. Buy Lifebuoy right away.
There's a big color picture of the entire cast and a fine story about the Amos and Andy show in the current issue of Collier's. You'll enjoy it. Be with us next week at this same time. Good night.
This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.